Kia ora, everyone. I'm Emmeline Pat Dahlstrom, CEO and co-founder of Spacebase. Today, we're doing a short interview for the Space for Planet Earth Challenge. And the purpose of this session is threefold. So to demystify the challenge process, and then learn a little bit about the experience of an applicant and a participant, as well as getting maybe some tips on how to submit a winning proposal. So just to summarize the challenge again, there's like 3 stages. So you apply to participate in the online research incubator. The deadline is on the 31st of August, and we're going to down select and invite about like 20 teams. Then the second phase is submitting a final full application to get selected to be a finalist. And that's not due until the 25th of February. And just to note, you don't need to be in the incubator to submit a final application. And then the third stage of the challenge is basically the demo and pitch session to win the grand prize of $25K and $8K respectively for each category. And that's not until the 15th of March, 2024. Right now, it's slated to be in Auckland, but it might also be online. So we'll figure that out as we go. The competition is both for high school and university startup categories for participants in New Zealand, Australia, the Philippines, and the Pacific Islands. And again, just to note that the requirement is only for the principal applicant. So you can have team members from other countries as long as the person who's actually applying is from those areas that I mentioned. So this year's problem area, it changes every year, but it's always focused on climate change. So this year, it's basically leveraging satellite data to identify target areas of methane emissions on Earth. So today, we have a special guest. We're going to talk to Jayden Kah, last year's team lead for Not Basic from Newlands College in Wellington. So the team won the grand prize for the high school category, and they focus on leveraging satellite data and machine learning for coral health. Jayden was a senior at Newlands College last year, but today he is a student at the University of Auckland working on his bachelor's degree in engineering. So welcome, Jayden. How are you today?
Kia ora, great to speak to you, Emmeline.
Awesome. Again, thanks so much for being with us today and basically helping to understand a little bit of the process and also the experience of the challenge. So let's talk about the application process first. So first off, how did you learn about the challenge?
So the challenge was advertised by a couple of teachers at our school. They just mentioned it in passing, and one of my friends actually thought, oh, that's pretty cool. It could be something for us to enter in. And so we had a look at it through the website, read about the challenge, and we're like, this might be a challenge we want to take on. And that really catalyzed our team to come together. And we started figuring out who can help us in which aspects. And then we started meeting up at lunchtimes just to have a look around the challenge and brainstorm some ideas.
Yeah, so you kind of touched on my next question, because basically it's also very important for the success of the team, who kind of like your team members are. So how did you form the team? Like, how did you pick sort of like the people that are going to be part of your team for the challenge?
Yeah, there were 2 of us that started off, the person who mentioned the challenge to me as well as myself. And we started thinking about which areas we need people to specialize in. For example, we knew we'd need some researchers and some people who are more stronger in the programming side of things. So we started just finding people who are interested. We already knew a lot of these people, and just bringing them together and sparking their interest into the challenge as well.
Yeah, and so I guess what you're saying is that the roles of your team members, they normally have like different skill sets that contribute to the team, right?
Yes, definitely. And I think we also have discussed that in the proposal. We had to write a little bit about each of our team members.
Yeah. And then in terms of your topic area, so how did you come up with the topic area for your proposal?
There was a lot of brainstorming. I think we'd spent like 3 hours just sitting around. We were just hanging out as friends. We had a whiteboard with us, and that was one of the things we were working on. and we're just writing out all the ideas that came to mind. And yeah, we figured out that's pretty much how we wanted to move forward in our proposal, mostly because we had to pick something and it was the best idea that we had so far. So really, it doesn't have to be the perfect idea because we knew we could still shape it further on within the incubator. So we decided to go with something we were happy with and research about it and just move forward with that one.
Awesome. And did you have help at all from your like teachers or anybody else, like specialists in the topic area, or
We
maybe not?
definitely talked to some of our teachers. They gave us a couple ideas which helped launch us into more thinking. So it's really definitely talk to your science teachers or anyone who might have some knowledge about the topic.
And did you do a little bit of like research on the topic area, and like what the kind of like tools or online websites did you, if you can still remember, did you go look at?
Yeah, we definitely Googled up to learn about the concept because we were looking at coral health, and we had a look at what impacts that, what's the scientific process on how corals degrade and things like that. It was really important to understand that before we try to propose a solution.
Yeah. And so your proposal, of course, is very much into like machine learning. And so is machine learning one thing that is already widely kind of like used in your school, or or is there just some people in your team that really likes kind of like using machine learning and computer science?
Yeah, so we hadn't really touched on machine learning at school. I think it wasn't in our proposal, but later on in our submission process that we really brought it into our design. Our lead programmer John was definitely learning machine learning at the moment, outside at the moment, and he brought it in because he could really see the power of it and how we could harness machine learning into our solution.
Awesome. Great. And so just for the audience, their proposal is actually on the website now. So you can kind of like look at how they submitted and see, how you can potentially glean on what's the best way of like writing a proposal. So again, also like related to this, any tips on writing a good proposal?
Definitely plan it out. And I remember on the website, there's like an outline of like key points to follow, I believe. And it was really important to follow that because obviously that's what you guys are looking at when you read through our proposals. And also just have fun with it. We spent some lunch times, a couple of hours, maybe like an hour a week. We just chipped away at it and we all had fun and focused on different sections of that proposal. And definitely it came together over the weeks.
That's great. Okay, so the next like section here is once you got selected into the incubator, can you describe the elements of what you went through?
Yeah, so we were pretty happy to be selected, especially because we knew that provided a lot of support. I remember we had lots of calls through the incubator to learn about the challenge and how we can use like planet data and more like that. The process, before the stage 2 submission, which was a video, I believe, that we did. It was over summer, so we met up. I mean, actually, we all took a break for Christmas first,
Yeah.
And then after that, we started meeting up every week, just to have a work. We had to work on our product first before we made the presentation. The presentation was definitely done in the last month before it was due.
Yeah. And do you remember any of the tools that you kind of learned during the incubator, and did you actually apply them at all in your final application?
I think in the incubator, it was great to speak with some industry experts who were able to answer some questions about more corals as well. And they did provide some technical support as well to learn about how to use some of the software that you guys provided in the incubator.
Yeah. Did you actually use the planet data that or did you use just like open source?
Yeah, we didn't end up using planet data. It just wasn't. It didn't have what we wanted. But yeah, we used open sourced online data.
Yeah. And did you also manage to meet any of the other teams that were in the virtual incubator?
Online, we had a chat with a couple of them, but obviously we weren't sharing too many ideas for this
Right.
competition.
And also, you mentioned that you really got into machine learning only kind of more in the incubator. So did you pivot your focus while you were going through the program? And then also, yeah, how was the experience of uh, like really working and using machine learning while it was something new for the team?
Yeah, so on the first point, our proposal, we found a couple of things in there weren't 100%, they weren't definitely going to work. We thought we might need to find a different solution to tackle this problem we were facing. And John brought up that we could use machine learning to predict it into the future, which we all really liked actually, because we thought it had a slightly bigger impact than our initial idea, and it definitely helped grow our solution. The second part of that question, just mind blanking what the question was now.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of well, actually, I think you answered the pivot part, and then you also answered sort of like how you use machine learning, even though it was something that
Oh
was
yeah, for our team, because it was quite new, there were a couple of our team members like weren't 100% how it really works, and that's what we wanted to make sure everyone in the team understood. Because if when our people in our team were writing it or they're researching, they need to understand how our solution is going to work. So we made sure that everyone on the team fully understood how the solution would work.
Oh, great. And did you do that through just like brainstorming or doing your own sessions?
Yeah, it was mostly our sessions. Getting each of our team members they watched a couple of YouTube videos even just to understand the concept of machine learning and then how we would apply that. We had a discussion about that.
Oh, that's awesome. And so in terms of the application and final competition, so you submitted your full application and then had like a video and decks describing your solution. So can you talk about the process of putting together that video and deck as well?
Yeah, so that's our stage 2 submission. Yeah, as Emily mentioned, the main part of it is the video where you present your solution as well as accompanying it with a pitch deck of slides. The video, we scripted it. We figured out what our key points we wanted to present were, and it's really important to meet the judging criteria which are on the website because obviously that's what they're using. So we had a look at each of those and how we could address that in our video. We have a small discussion. Then we recorded it, obviously. Just went through that, the key points. We did a couple takes, uploaded it up, and the slide deck or the pitch deck's also your opportunity to show because they don't have to rewatch the video for that. It's really important to include your key points in that pitch deck.
Yeah, no, that was really great. So did you think you were going to make it to the finals when you submitted?
We weren't sure. We were all high school students at this point. Because we hadn't really talked to the other competitors about how in depth they were. Because I know there were a couple like space clubs participating. So we were a bit unsure about how well we'd do because we're just a bunch of friends, a group we'd pulled together to work on this. But really happy to make it through.
That's great. So, and then in terms of the finals pitch session, and so also, can you describe your experience during the actual pitch?
Yeah, the final pitch. This was a very nervous moment. We'd taken the day off school to come together and just prepare, practice, and just have a discussion. And then we did a couple practice runs before the final pitch, and we hopped on that call, waited for our turn, and went through it.
That's great. And then did you think that you would win the grand prize?
I don't think we were that confident in it, but we were. Yeah, when we heard the announcement, we were very shocked and very happy.
What did you think made your team kind of a cut above the rest to win the challenge?
I think what was really important that we did each specialize on each topic because we had some people who were great at presenting, and they were the ones who helped show us how to present because I'm not that great at presenting, but they were able to tell us, oh, this will work, and this is how we should present it to the audience, because that's how we can tell a story in our presentation and with our final solution. And then we had some people who really worked on researching, and they spent some time. They went through all those sources online to figure out how we could apply. And then we had John's a programmer who's really in charge of sorting that machine learning. So it's definitely important to specialize in jobs, because everyone has their unique skill set. Make sure to harness that.
Yeah, that's a really, really good, important point about like the team composition. So we're getting near to the end of the interview. So what would you recommend to those who are still on the fence, thinking it might be too hard to participate?
It's definitely not too hard. Just have fun with it. Put your name in the hat with that proposal. It's really it's not that many pages. You can spend a couple hours on it and have a good proposal product there. It's definitely something to participate in. And it's also a great opportunity to learn in the same process.
Yeah. So any parting thoughts or tips before we close?
It's definitely participate if you're on the fence. It's a great competition. I definitely learned a lot out of it, especially with my team, as well as into the with the competition.
Awesome. Again, thanks, Jayden, for your willingness to be interviewed today. I'm sure those applying this year would appreciate all of the insights. And to the audience, we really encourage you to apply. As Jayden mentioned, it's not just also learning, it's also fun. And there's really no downside to applying. There's just only tons of opportunities. So yeah, go and definitely apply. And you don't need to finish it all in one go. So the application process is very easy on the platform, and you can hit submit like just before the deadline, which is the 31st of August. So good luck to everybody. Ngamihi, thank you. Have a nice day.